Years ago today, Richard Nixon signed into existence the Environmental Protection Agency. I'm going to be talking with Arnold Schwarzenegger about that a little bit later in the show. Chuck Todd coming along. Dr. Michael Oren is going to update us on the COVID news from Israel. It's astonishing. 100,000 Americans are in the hospital today. It's tonight on the West Coast. It's this morning on the East Coast with the coronavirus. And it's really taken off all over, as are fires in Orange County, California this morning. My production studio friends there are telling me the sky is orange in the middle of the night there. I am here to tell you that I want you to hear some of Donald Trump's speech from the White House yesterday because major media wouldn't play any of it, so I want to play a lot of that. Let me begin then out of order. I want to first appeal to you. Don't forget our friends at Angel Tree. I usually tell you about this middle of the first hour. I'm starting the show with it. You've been so generous, but there is so much need. Angel Tree volunteers like Jeremy Hart know literally that every donation, large or small, is important to changing the life of a prisoner's child. Just listen to Jeremy.
I think it's important that God allows us to help the kids connect as much as the parent. I had one Angel Tree kid come to me and say, hey, I'll see my dad when I get in the system. And that just broke my heart. You should see him today. Completely different kiddo. Now this will be his second Christmas with us, and we're standing in the gap. So that's what Angel Tree is we want to stand in the gap.
That's what it does. That's what you do for those children. Please go to HughHewitt.com. $22 helps Angel Tree connect one prisoner with their child, provides presents, a Bible, and then a relationship with outsiders who help that child stay steady while mom or dad is away. That's what Angel Tree does. Christmas joy for those who do not have mom or dad with them, sometimes both. And it's a banner at the top of HughHewitt.com. Let me also tell you a market update at the beginning of this hour, which is brought to you by Birch Gold. Now, markets will be crazy today because the virus is accelerating so quickly, even as the vaccines are rolling out faster than the virus. And I'm wondering why the FDA isn't moving faster than it is with these numbers. They've got a scheduled approval for the Pfizer, which will be approved on December the 10th, I believe. And then the Moderna virus is scheduled for approval on the 17th. Now, maybe those bureaucratic dates don't mean anything, but if they do mean something, they ought to advance them because that would certainly make people rest a little bit more easy and perhaps stay a little more cautious for the 3 months it takes to roll it out across the United States. Yesterday, it was a mixed market. The Dow was up 59, the NASDAQ was down 5, and the S&P was up 6. But this is brought to you by Birch Gold, HughGold.com, HughGold.com. And yesterday, gold went up considerably to $1,842. Remember, last week it was below $1,800 for the first time in months. And I told you that was an entry point. I still believe it's an entry point. I believe the world and the markets understand that the vaccine is coming, even as the number of virus cases and hospitalizations soar. They realize the amount of stimulus is coming. Stimulus is going to be passed by the Congress probably today or tomorrow, and or next week at the latest. And that will add even more liquidity to an already excited amount of money in the system. If you haven't got gold, you haven't got a hedge against inflation. You buy your gold or you transfer a portion of your retirement to physical precious metals at HughGold.com. They'll send you a free information kit on how to do it. Or you can text my name, Hugh, to 474747. Very easy to do. If you don't know how to text names, ask your son, daughter, or the next door kid. Just my name, Hugh, to 474747, and they'll get back to you right away with free information on how to do it, how to buy it. Gold this morning at 1843. The 10-year Treasury is up to 0.95%, almost at triple digits for the first time since March. As I'll tell you, inflation is going to come, and then you're going to wish you had listened to me about gold. Birch Gold at HughGold.com. Now to the president. He came out yesterday and he began to talk in what he called one of the most important speeches of his presidency, cut number 7.
Thank you. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. I want to provide an update on our ongoing efforts to expose the tremendous voter fraud and irregularities which took place during the ridiculously long November 3rd elections. We used to have what was called Election Day. Now we have election days, weeks and months, and lots of bad things happened during this ridiculous period of time, especially when you have to prove almost nothing to exercise our greatest privilege, the right to vote. As president, I have no higher duty than to defend the laws and the Constitution of the United States. That is why I am determined to protect our election system, which is now under coordinated assault and siege. For months leading up to the presidential election, we were warned that we should not declare a premature victory. We were told repeatedly that it would take weeks, if not months, to determine the winner, to count the absentee ballots, and to verify the results. My opponent was told to stay away from the election. Don't campaign. We don't need you. We've got it. This election is done. In fact, they were acting like they already knew what the outcome was going to be. They had it covered, and perhaps they did, very sadly for our country. It was all very, very strange. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint a winner, even while many key states were still being counted. The constitutional process must be allowed to continue. We are going to defend the honesty of the vote by ensuring that every legal ballot is counted and that no illegal ballot is counted. This is not just about honoring the votes of 74 million Americans who voted for me. It's about ensuring that Americans can have faith in this election and in all future elections. Today, I will detail some of the shocking irregularities, abuses, and fraud that have been revealed in recent weeks. But before laying out just a small portion of the evidence we have uncovered, and we have so much evidence, I want to explain the corrupt mail-in balloting scheme that Democrats systematically put into place that allowed voting to be altered, especially in swing states, which they had to win. They just didn't know that it was going to be that tough because we were leading in every swing state by so much, far greater than they ever thought possible. While it has long been understood that the Democrat political machine engages in voter fraud from Detroit to Philadelphia to Milwaukee, Atlanta, so many other places. What changed this year was the Democrat Party's relentless push to print and mail out tens of millions of ballots sent to unknown recipients with virtually no safeguards of any kind. This allowed fraud and abuse to occur on a scale never seen before. Using the pandemic as a pretext, Democrat politicians and judges drastically changed election procedures just months and in some cases weeks before the election on the 3rd of November. Very rarely were legislatures involved, and constitutionally they had to be involved. But very, very rarely, and you'll see that as we continue to file our suits, it's constitutionally absolutely incorrect what took place, even from a legal standpoint. Many states, such as Nevada and California, sent millions of live ballots to every person on their voter rolls, whether those individuals had requested ballots or not, whether they were dead or alive. They got ballots. Other states, such as Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin, instituted universal absentee balloting right in the middle of an election year, sending absentee ballot request forms to all voters on all rolls. It didn't matter who they were. This colossal expansion of mail-in voting opened the floodgates to massive fraud. It's a widely known fact that the voting rolls are packed with people who are not lawfully eligible to vote, including those who are deceased, have moved out of their state, and even are non-citizens of our country. Beyond this, the records are riddled with errors, wrong addresses, duplicate entries, and many other issues. This is not disputed. It has never been disputed. Dozens of counties in the key swing states have more registered voters on the rolls than they have voting-age citizens, including 67 counties in Michigan. All of this is evidence. In Wisconsin, The state's Board of Elections could not confirm the residency of more than 100,000 people, but repeatedly refused to remove those names from its voter rolls before the election.
We'll come back with more of the president's remarks from yesterday. I'm playing some of them as legacy media wouldn't play any of them, so you can hear directly what the President of the United States says about the election. Stay tuned to the Hugh Hewitt Show.